So this is a meeting about nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. Nowhere to get. Nothing to do. Nothing to achieve. Nothing to get. Nothing to know. Just nothing. Now, there could be a resonance with that. A feeling of freedom. That all the trying, all the knowledge, all the getting hasn't actually amounted to anything. That the space never changes. And we don't usually pay attention to the space. Because the space is nothing. What are you going to do with space? So we're constantly looking for something. I'm a me, and I take myself to be something, so naturally I'm seeking something. But that's not what this meeting is about. That there's nothing literally to get. And that will either resonate, something in you will resonate with that. And you don't even know why. If you knew why, then that would be a something. And then you could tell others. So we can share about this. We can talk about this. We can share stories, ideas, concepts, but they're all empty. Even this one, emptiness, talking about emptiness. There actually isn't something. Yeah, Faith?
I'm a bit puzzled about using the word resonate. You often use that, and I keep turning up to these meetings because I love them, but I probably wouldn't say that that the nothing resonates with me. When you say this is nothing, it's not really resonate. It's just a relief, but resonate doesn't ring true. Could you explain a bit more about what you mean by resonate?
Well, what is something that you like?
Chocolate.
Okay. So if you like chocolate, you could say in a way you resonate with chocolate. Maybe, you know, you don't like tapioca pudding. So you would say, I don't resonate with tapioca pudding. But I will say this, Faith, it's not about the words.
No, I know that.
So if relief is your word, that's perfectly fine. That's good enough.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I could jump in a little bit here, Michael.
Yeah, please. Thanks, Dan.
See, the thing is, if you knew, Faith, that you were resonating,
Yeah.
then that wouldn't be it.
Yeah.
Because that's not nothing. That's
Yeah, brother.
something you know. And that's a continuation of the story of faith. Chapter, well, chapter 7, let's say, 11. But yeah, so again, you know, right now there's an effort to understand and an effort to get. And that really isn't it, because this is really not anything to understand. That's all that we mean by resonate. It just means, you know, and all these words are difficult, but we can just say some kind of receiving by no one, not by faith, but of a message that's not a message. It's just, and but this resonating or the receiving, we're just saying, using that word, is not any kind of idea, and it is not any kind of any understanding or anything that really has anything really to do with concepts or words. The concepts or words are you know, they're kind of like there to help it along. They're sort of like the I don't know, like the bread in the sandwich, you know, in the corned beef sandwich or something. But the resonating is the corned beef, and the words are the bread. Okay, that's the best I could come up with. But anyway, insert your metaphor. But they're kind of the delivery system a little bit, but not really. It's just, this is just, yeah, okay, I won't say what it is, but you're showing up here, or something is showing up here, and there's resonance already. Just, you know, just in these bodies being here and the Zoom being here. Anyway, I don't know if that means anything, but I also like to know, you know, what would you say, and what do you feel you're looking for? What do you feel you're getting? What do you feel, you know, anything that you feel?
Well, as Michael said, release.
Yeah.
Describes it well. So if I just replace, I know, yeah, we're not into the concepts, but if I just replace relief, resonance with relief, then I'm quite happy.
Good, because it really isn't in the words. It really, we're not just saying that to be, you know, cute or anything. It's the words are the booby prize. You know, people, if you go online, it's all people are doing is squabbling over words. say, no, you didn't say it the way I would say it. You're wrong and I'm right. None of that applies. It's worthless. It's like being in love. You can't really explain when you fall in love. You can try, and poets have tried for centuries. Shakespeare tried. We do our best to put the unspeakable into words.
And with a meeting like this, there can be a lot of relief. Well, there can be a lot of different things that happen. There can be a relief, but I just want to get clear on that there's really two kinds of relief. There's a relief that the person feels, which can be all kinds of emotional relief and relief of stress and relief of beliefs that are heavy, that are weighing me down, relief, all of that, which of course, it's similar to things that can come from a lot of other places, even just, playing tennis or something, but this is, and those are wonderful. And all this relief is wonderful. And that, I'm not saying anything against that. It's valuable and wonderful. But if we're talking about relief that this, message is about, it's really a completely different kind of relief. It's a relief that's already here. It's a relief that everything always is, and that you don't have to do anything to get. You can't get it. It's what you are. So, and that's why we say there may be a resonance with this. Who knows? You have nothing to do with it. I have nothing to do with it. But that's kind of what we're always talking about. I don't know if it makes sense what I'm saying, but those are both, they're both wonderful, and they're both it. They're both this, the famous this. I'll be the first one to say it today.
And nobody knows what this is. So you see the dilemma. The me is constantly trying to understand what this is, because we hear it all the time. Well, there's only this. But nobody knows what this is. That's, yeah.
Well, if there was anyone here, does it make noise every time I talk? If there was anyone here, we might be able to know some of these things. But the problem is there really isn't anyone. That's what we keep saying, there's no one. We can get into that a little bit. But that's the reason why we can't know anything. Because all the positions that we take to get in a position to know something, to get it in our sights and really learn about it, are really kind of imaginary. There is no real position. And that imaginary position is what we call me. And I'm walking around from this position every day. And that one doesn't exist. It's not real. And to live in that experience is very painful, I can just say. It's kind of a, that's also, what we're talking about. Anyway. Peter, I'm glad you were on hand for the recording today. Finally, we're going to get a decent copy, even though you didn't.
Actually, it was Michael doing it all by himself today. He's gotten the drift of it now.
Yeah, but at least you were here to supervise and provide the spiritual guidance.
That is true.
Anyway, sorry for changing the subject. I just wanted to wake you up.
Well, it's interesting, I feel like there is resonance here, and I feel very little temptation to speak, because Well, maybe there is a concern that when I start speaking, then this is getting lost, and I'll get into some. You'll be calling me on the carpet then, and
Oh,
it's okay. It's fun. It can be fun.
no, I'll be nice. But
Well, that's a great promise.
you can't, well, I'm going to say one thing. You can't do anything wrong. So, and I can curb myself. I like talking with you. You know that.
Thank you.
I don't mean to
Thank you.
jump on you, but it's also good to be quiet, you know, and not to, because sometimes, you know, when we talk just to talk, then the head can just pick it up and run.
When
So-
I first joined, then I remember what I was wanting to do is to absorb what I felt like was offered and put it in my own words.
Yeah.
So it was more like, I remember you actually were teasing me about it because I called it a class and stuff like that.
You got
And-
good grades, as I remember.
Yeah, well, yeah, I barely passed, but no, but now I realize I resonate really with what is being said. And so it's nice for me to just be here and
Yeah.
just absorb it.
I'll speak for everyone and say that we really appreciate you being here, and you add a lot. And it doesn't really matter at all, you know, whether you speak or not. It's the same thing. But like I say, you can't do anything wrong. So anyway,
Thank you. Thank you.
welcome to Nkosi.
Welcome, Nkosi.
Welcome,
Hi,
Nkosi.
Good to
hi
see you.
everyone.
Yeah.
Good to see you too.
The other thing, Michael, when you introduced the meeting, you said this is a meeting about nothing. And if Faith was asked to describe it, she'd say this is a meeting about life.
Hmm. Yeah. So that again, it's not in the words. Life is nothing. Nothing is life.
Yeah, true.
And I don't mean that just metaphorically, because you can't actually grasp it. You can't actually hold on to anything.
And that is not the reality of the me, or at least the way it seems. I mean, it is the reality. It's the reality of everything. It's just what is. There is nothing, and there's nothing to hold on to, and there's no one to hold on to anything. It's just what's here. That's it. But for the me's experience, life is something. It really is something, and it's something to hold on to. And the me is holding on all the time. So that's why it would be about. Yeah. Well, anyway. Yeah.
But
So,
no.
yeah. Go ahead.
No, but that's why it would be about nothing. I was just thinking, if I was to invite somebody to come to this meeting, join up with this meeting, and they said, what's it about? I would say to them, it's about life. I wouldn't say to them, it's about nothing.
Beautiful. Perfect. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, but most people who would come in that situation would be expecting something, because you know they would think life is something, and we're going to hear about the something that life is and talk about it.
Right.
This is a little different.
Yeah.
Earlier, somebody was mentioning, I think, the word relief, or the relief that I experience in this meeting is I don't have to play a social role. Like most of the time when I'm with people, I'm becoming more sensitive and also sometimes annoyed about it, that I feel that it's expected to relate and to play a role. And so when I'm here, I'm learning somehow that there's no need to play a role. There's no need to interact and to talk about what I had for lunch, or that I fell on the tennis court today and badly bruised my wrist. And, you know, it's like this. And I know Michael said earlier, he said, it's okay, stories are fine. And yet it's like, yes, life is so full of these stories, you know. And so it's nice to be here without having to engage in the personal drama as much.
Yeah. I was watching Nkosi, your video with Chuck, with Charles, those videos you've been posting, and you mentioned another word for me is interest, the one that's interested in everything. How am I doing? How am I looking? How am I coming across? And it really struck me that the me is a synonym for interest.
Yes, yeah. The me, what seems to be the me is really interested in everything, especially when they are objects. What seems to be the me, it doesn't like to just watch space, because what seems to be space, it seems to be like boring and dull, you know. But when there are objects that are seen, it always has something to say about them, you know. Oh, I like that car, that beautiful car, that building. I love that painting. You know? So when there's nothing really, it's just space, then there's really nothing to talk about. It seems to be bored, you know, and it always watches with interest, you know. But this is just watching. It's not even watching, it's just there. But they seem to be, what seems to be watching going on, there's no interest there. But when the me seems to be there, the me is interested in everything. Oh, it's got something to say about everything that is seen, that appears. You know, oh, that's bad. I love that bird. Those people, everything that appears, what seems to be the me, has always, like, it has something to say about everything.
The commentator wants to make a comment about things.
Yes, exactly. But that's not to say that is wrong or right. It's just what seems to be happening. Because even the me is still this. So there isn't a real me who is interested in anything. So there's just what seems to be happening. But this right here is not watching with interest. There's no interest. It's just watching. And there seem to be appearances and disappearances. And nothing matters at all.
I was just going to say, Nkosi, when I was reflecting on this compulsion to make comments about everything, then that gives to me a sense of that it matters. If I give a comment, it's like, that's how I react to this. And so it has a lot to do with wanting to assert itself and to show that the me matters, wants to be somebody.
Exactly. But of course, that's just an imagination that appears in this. That's just one of the appearances. It's not to say it's wrong or right. You know, it doesn't really, you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because every expression is this. You know, there's nothing outside of this. There's no pointer. There's no one who can point to this because everything is this. So there isn't any real me who can talk about anything, who can say, who can have any opinion There's just this. There's nothing really outside of this. So there is no me, there's no pointer, and there's no pointing. It's just this. The one who seems to be pointing, and the pointing itself, and the thing that is being pointed to is just this. So all these three, they're just nothing. Yeah, really nothing. So there's nothing happening. There's nothing really happening. So right now, there's nobody who's talking, and there's no place to get to. There's just this, what seems to be appearing. And this is not personal. And this is going nowhere. And there is already nobody who's going to understand this and get this, and maybe in the future become enlightened. There's just what seems to be happening right now. And what seems to be happening has got nothing to do with what seems to be an individual. It's not happening for that. It's just what seems to be happening. And it's beautiful. And when there's seems to be a recognition that happens, all these words like absolutes, spaciousness, God, no, they're just seen as just meaningless. They're seen as meaningless. Yet, even the recognition is always there. The recognition is always there. There may seem to be a compulsive thinking going on that seems to be covering what is. But it's not really covering. It's just, you know. But the recognition doesn't come. It's always there. And it's not for anybody. Nobody can really recognize that there's only what is. There's just recognition. And it doesn't come. It doesn't go away. Nobody can lose anything here. Nobody can become enlightened and lose enlightenment. There isn't anybody already. So this can never be pointed to. Nobody can point to this because even the pointer is this. So there's nobody who's outside, really. All things, they seem to be appearing in the screen and disappear. Yeah, it's
Beautiful.
coming.
Reminds me of the ocean pointing to water.
Well, for me, I don't know if it relates to what Dan was saying earlier, in reply to my question or my comment, but when I'm talking about the resonance, like when I listen to Nkosi or other people or Dan's little video clips, I've been thinking to myself, I need to concentrate and pay attention to what's being said. But somehow I've gotten past that, and I think that's too much effort or something. So I've just decided, well, I'll just turn on the YouTube clip and just listen and do my thing, like, you know, washing up or something in the kitchen. And inside of me, without my head participating, it's like my head's not participating in trying to understand, but it has a calming effect on me just in general. Like that, just when Nkosi was talking then, it's like everything settles down. Like I breathe a deep sigh and relax into it. So is that what you're saying, Dan? Like a sort of about, it's not in the concept thing. It's probably like a body thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, I still hear Faith there trying to make a concept out of it, but, and that's perfectly fine. That's this. And what you're describing sounds beautiful. And that's just what's happening, but you're not doing it, you know? It's just.
No, it seems to be happening to me when
Yeah. Well, that's the way everything is happening. Right now, you're not doing this. You're not talking in a good way or a bad way or the right way or. It's just this talking, seeming to talk. There's nothing to do about any of this. And no one that needs to do anything.
But we still turn up at these meetings, don't we? But like,
why not?
We must. Yeah, but we're not doing it then. We just.
It was interesting, Faith, while just like 30 seconds ago, when you were saying something and then it got quiet and I was going to bet there's going to be a but. The next sentence, and I wasn't just thinking of you, but the next sentence is going to be but.
Yeah, Peter, it always is. For me.
That's the me at work, yeah? No, me at play.
What does the wave need to do to become the ocean? That's the me. The me is the wave trying to become the ocean.
Because it forgot that it is already the ocean, that it cannot be not the ocean. That's the big illusion about it. To not realize the obvious and
effortless and obvious.
The effortless and obvious is not recognized in that moment.
No, because the energy of the wave is to keep itself alive as a wave. That's what it is, you know, and that's what goes on. And like you were saying about this impulse to get involved in the game, and to always have a comment about everything, and always be, you know, in the game. And because that's the energy of the me. It's trying to stay alive and stay and matter.
Stay relevant.
Matter. Yes.
Matter. Yeah.
And the funny thing about that is that it doesn't even exist in the first place. It's not alive. It doesn't matter. But that's the form of the me. That's how it shows up. It's not even real, but we can see it as this energy to stay, you know, keep this wave together and keep it alive and keep it separate. But you're starting to notice that that's just kind of a funny game, and it isn't for anyone, and you're not as interested in doing that because you see the silliness of it.
Yeah.
But it's just this appearing as an idea of me. And this can be any way. There's no way that this needs to be.
Imagine the ocean, imagining it's a wave.
That's why I always say this is actually going nowhere, because the here is just wholeness talking to itself. So there's no separate somebody who's talking to anybody here. So here it is seen as it's just a play, you know. It's a play. It's just a movie or simulation. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's not to say it's wrong or right. No, it's just what seems to be happening. That's interaction going on. Somebody asking a question, somebody giving an answer. You know, that's just everything doing that. So yeah, it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable to watch all the responses, questions being asked, you know. Somebody who's not getting it, somebody who's getting it. Yeah, it's just beautiful.
As Nkosi just said a little bit ago, there's no recognition that's going to happen or needs to happen. Everything is already recognized. It's already obvious. This is just so obvious. It may not seem like it all the time in this me business, because there's all these other things going on, all these stories. Doesn't seem like it recognizes. But
Yeah,
it's very simple, and it's just being
yeah.
here.
That's it may seem to be that's compulsive thinking going on that doesn't give a space, you know. A thought after thought, a thought after thought, the thought comes up, another thought comes up immediately, you know. There's no space there. You know, that little space, you know, if it can be like given, and it is seen by no one that is just what is
It's a
compulsive
popular,
thinking.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say it's a popular meditation technique that I use lately, where the suggestion is to discover that space, and then immediately the me wants to make that space bigger and more permanent. And so in the end, there is only that space.
Yeah. It's already there
Right.
all the time.
But the me always wants more of it, or wants it like more absolute or something.
Well, because the me is always starting with the that I know that this space isn't here, and I got to make the space. So I have to make it bigger and make it, make it more. When actually all there is space. There's nothing that isn't space.
Yeah.
And you can't do anything with it. There's nothing. It's just space. Even the obsessive thinking is just space. No escape.
So the me starts out utterly convinced it's a wave. And it wants to know, how the hell can I get back to ocean? That's why there's so much laughter when it's seen by nobody that it's all been a joke the whole time. It's funny, but not when you take the me/wave seriously. Then it's not funny. Because that's separation. Imagined. I'm imagining I'm separate from wholeness.
Which is the basis for many religious pursuits, and very dedicated spiritual seekers. They're very serious about the practice.
Yeah.
And it's really the basis for everything. Any kind of activity that we get involved in this world. It's always looking for that. Well, it may be space in the form of money, or space in the form of, whatever is trying to be accomplished. But everybody's looking for the same thing, but they're looking for what's only always here, already. Because that's all there is. But that's a hard pill to swallow sometimes. Well, for the me it is, if the me existed.
So Dan, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm not serious, but like this just happened to me yesterday when I talk like this to somebody, and then they say, "How do you know?" So I'm asking you, how do you know?
Well, that's a great me question. Very good one. Yeah, no way to know. I don't. I can't. That points also to what we mean by resonance. We're calling back to the earlier part of this meeting. So what I could know and what I could explain, the steps of how it is that I have come to this knowledge, that would be knowledge, and that would just be a story for the me. That's doesn't have anything to it. It's nothing. But there is a resonance here in just what's going on. Or maybe there is, I'm suggesting maybe. And we're just putting resonance is just a word that, we could have picked any word really, just for, and it's a mystery, it can't be explained. And you could, but yeah, this question of how do I know, but the me definitely wants to know, how can I know? Because I need to get this and I need to get it right and not screw up.
How do you know is the first one, and then the second one is, how do I get there? Tell me.
Yeah. Well, really, they're both part of the same, they come from the same place. They're really the same. I want to know how you know, and I want to know how I can know because I'm
Right.
trying to get there.
Right.
That's why. And the knowledge is the one something I can use to get me there. And that's what the me is always on duty for, it's 24/7.
And one of the common answers that I hear is practice, practice, practice. Try harder.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that, if you resonate with that, if that works, then that's just the way this goes.
It's like telling a wave to practice becoming the ocean.
Well, and again, it presupposes that there is something to be practiced that it isn't already. So, practice really is a good example of it's not wrong to think one is a wave, but it's the effort is futile for the wave to want to become the ocean.
But the me energy is going to have to take everything that we're saying and turn it into a practice of some kind, because it can't do anything otherwise. I mean, it has to turn everything into something I can do, something I can know, understand, get, and do. So I'm going to give you a homework assignment to practice nothing for 2 hours a day.
Sir, I will do it for sure.
I'll check your work next week.
Thank you so much for your great assistance.
I'm guiding the way for you.
Yeah, pointing the way for me.
And the words that I've heard used is not practice, but is allow, 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 allow. There's still effort involved in allowing.
That's a very sophisticated practice.
Yeah,
Wow.
it is too. Yeah, thanks, Dan. Yeah.
It's for the advanced student.
Surrender is another one, very similar curriculum.
Well, they're tricky, aren't they? So they can be tricky because they're sort of more, they're more refined, more subtle, perhaps.
And another subtle one is the observer. Just be the observer.
Right. Be the awareness. Abide is consciousness. And these are all great. What's wrong? If you're moved to do that, or, you're not doing it anyway. And, but it's, not so much what we talk about here.
Yeah, they're just concepts. Yeah. Sometimes we use concepts to talk about what cannot be talked about, to speak about what cannot be spoken. So yeah, sometimes there may be concepts used. Yeah, in most cases, we use concepts just.
Yeah. And even
because this is wordless. It has no words. No word can describe this. But it's not even this. It's just, not even just.
So it's the ocean thanking everybody for coming, because there's no waves here. There's only ocean. And I want to thank each and every one of you for coming to yourself, because it's all ocean already, or as Nkosi said, there's only wholeness. Wholeness talking right now, the ocean talking right now. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much. Good night.
Great, thanks everyone.
Hi.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Hey, Vincenzo.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.